What's going on, everybody? What's happening? What's up? This your girl Tiffany coming through here live in effect. So today I'm going to talk about the incident that took place in Midtown in Atlanta, where there was a case where there was a black woman, which she's African descent. She's from Africa, and she allegedly went inside the condominium in Midtown and shot and killed two people, shot three people, but two of them got killed. So now this is very uncommon because it's very rare when you hear stories, when you hear about shootings like this, right? You don't normally hear from a woman, particularly a black woman, walking in and shooting somebody. So there was some reasons behind it. It was a lot to the story. And it was a lot to uncover. And based on that information, it seemed like she had some difficulties, with her employer. So one of the guys was her employee, and the other guy was a property manager at the condominium that she stayed at. Okay, so I have some information that I would like to read. I have some information, and also I have a video that I'm going to play. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play the video, and then I'm going to give my commentary, my thoughts on this whole thing. Okay, because I knew there was a lot to the story. You know what I'm saying? I don't think somebody would just take the initiative to want to just walk up into a place and just start shooting at random people. You know what I'm saying? She had targets, and those victims that she shot and killed were somebody that she knew or she was in connection with. So let me go ahead and play this video.
The practice tonight, so speculation on how the alleged shooter knew the victims are circling right now. Tonight, investigator Rebecca Lindstrom found some court filings that may offer some clues here.
Raissa Kengne acted as her own attorney, filing hundreds of court documents the past 2 years, seeking justice against claims of harassment and fraud. And today, we read all of them. By the time police arrested her, court records claim she was fighting to stop foreclosure on property in Douglasville, get her power turned back on, and while she did have her condo, as of May, she said she had less than $3,000 to her name and no income. She blames these problems on two groups: BDO, the accounting firm where she worked as an IT audit manager until last November, and the property management company for 1280 West Peachtree, where she lived. Let's start with BDO. Kengne claims she found repeated evidence that audits were not being performed correctly. She claims she told her boss, Wesley Freeman, one of the men killed in the shooting. Kengne says the company ignored her concerns, and when she refused to drop it, started harassing her. That's where the property management company comes in. She alleges they allowed someone to use a copy of her key to her condo to break in, steal things, and intimidate her. The other person killed was Michael Shinners, who worked as the general manager for that condo association. Kengne did report these alleged break-ins to police. She states in her lawsuit that an officer was sent out to review security footage and dust for fingerprints. She lists 3 incidents in her lawsuit from last year, but it wasn't until a week ago that she started posting her allegations and frustrations on LinkedIn.
Someone broke into my home, right? They opened the safe, they broke the safe, opened the safe, took evidence that I had in my safe.
Kengne has been trying for a while to get someone to listen to her claims. She actually reached out to us in April. She claims her phone and computer were hacked and that she was isolated from her family who live outside of the country. In her court filing, she says several times that she feared for her life.
Hmm. Hmm. All right, let's see if I can find some more information. Let me see if I can find some more. Let's see what else we can find. Because, see, again, it's a lot to this story that has to be uncovered. I'm trying to find a video. Okay, so.
A woman has been arrested after 3 people were shot in Midtown Atlanta on Monday. The Atlanta Police Department said it had detained a suspect in the shootings at the city's international airport after evaluating the scene of the crime. However, officers are still investigating why the shooting happened and whether the victims were specifically targeted or simply chosen at random. The shooting began just before 2 p.m. in Midtown, leaving 2 people dead and 1 injured. 41-year-old Wesley Freeman died at the hospital, and 60-year-old Michael Shinners died at 1280 West Peachtree Street, and Shinners is from Alpharetta. Both Mr. Freeman and Mr. Shinners were named as defendants in a lawsuit filed by Raissa Kengne earlier this year, claiming that they were involved in a conspiracy against her.
Why I started my own consulting and accounting firm. In 2021, I was retaliated against by my employer at the time, Video USA, LLP. My home was broken into, my computers were hacked, and my phones were spoofed. I reported several violations of SEC US Securities and Exchange Commission regulations, violations of Public Company Accounting Oversight Board standards, and then violations of AICPA standards within the IT audit engagements. Wesley Freeman, the IT audit director at Video, had done a very bad job for more than 5 years. There were significant deficiencies and material weaknesses across all the engagements I was assigned to and was managing, which at the time were 50% of the public clients and 85% of the private clients in the Southeast region. I was severely retaliated against and constructively discharged. My home was broken into. My life and family lives were threatened, not only by Video USA, LLP, and its partners and members of its senior management team, but also by their clients. Clients actually threatened me in front of the IT audit principal, Scott Meyer. Furthermore, Video USA, employees and partners leveraged their relationship with people living in my condominium in order to pursue the retaliation at my home. If you are planning to move to a condominium, I would advise that you stay away from one managed by Beacon Management Services. They are not only incompetent, but criminal as well. Anyone who knows me or has worked with me knows my character and my work ethic. Therefore, knows that I am telling the truth. Wesley Freeman is the laziest manager I have had the displeasure of working for. His laziness is only surpassed by his incompetence to test elevated privileges for systems with organizations and the SEC already setting the standards for you. You bet I am suing all of them. It is a shame that the sixth biggest public accounting firm has criminals at the top. No one is above the law.
And you say this is precinct 5 for zone 5, and you say you do not do investigation here. You were saying earlier that you do not do investigations. All right. So I think the issue with the report is.
All right, so let's talk about it. Now, this sister was working for a firm, okay? And she was getting ready to start her law firm. All right, so obviously she went through the legal process of getting everything taken care of as far as the lawsuit. But her needs have not been met. So unfortunately, when she was in the process of doing a lawsuit, and these are the defendants, okay? The guy, the William guy, by the way, they were white guys, okay? By the way, they white guys. The William guy was her employer. And the other one was the property manager. Okay, so she went through the legal process. She did everything she was supposed to. But somehow someone went into her apartment and hacked her information and got all those documents to keep her from going to court and filing those lawsuits. Now, people might make an argument saying that, well, the story might not be true, it might be false. Okay? Well, obviously, the woman had showed proof of the documents. She posted up on the website called LinkedIn, which is like an employer app, whatever. So she went on LinkedIn and told the story and told what happened, what was going on. So we know that this is not a random act. Okay? She knew who her targets were. So what it sounded like to me, that this alleged killer was fed up. I'm going to put it to you in context. All right? I'm going to put it to you in my slang. But she's saying that a bitch can only take so much. You wonder, well, why did I use the word bitch? Because that's just how she felt psychologically. She probably didn't call herself a bitch. She probably didn't say she was a bitch, but just to break it down, this is how I understand the context of this. She basically saying a bitch can only take so much. A bitch can only take so much. And you know what? I don't think this woman is lying. Because this is what usually happens, especially if you live in an apartment complex and condominium. You get this mistreatment. You're already mad that your needs are not met as far as like basic things that needs to be taken care of. You're already frustrated about that. You're already frustrated that you paying this high ass money, and by her living in downtown Midtown area, those apartments down there are very expensive. So imagine how much she paying a month. So I can see the level of frustration. Then on top of that, her employer is not doing what he's supposed to be doing, and he's part of letting other people get away with doing so much shit. You know what I'm saying? But then she gotta take the hell from him, and he's not making sure the audits are taken care of. So that put her in a frustrating situation. And you know what? I'm gonna be honest. A lot of us feel this way. A lot of us felt the way that sister is feeling. A lot of us feel like that. A lot of us feel like we want to just go off and do something. But she was able to do it. She just took the necessary step and said, fuck it. It is what it is. I don't give a fuck no more. And she seemed like a very smart, intelligent woman. That's the thing. She's very intelligent. So she got tired of the trickery. She got tired of being gaslighted. She got tired of being taken advantage of, and she got tired of her needs not being met. So she said, I'm gonna take matter into my own hands and I'm gonna do something about it. Now, would people agree with what she did? No. But you can understand that. Because this is how an average person feels when they go on a job and deal with an employer like hers and deal with the property managers. That's how they feel on the inside. They just don't respond to those incidents. They don't respond to those situations. You got a crisis going on right now where people are being evicted out their apartments. In DeKalb County, they are being evicted. And they have no place to go. That right there would drive somebody to commit crimes. So it seemed like the woman wasn't no bad person, or she wasn't just a delusional individual. She was somebody that did what she was supposed to, a citizen working, you know what I'm saying, very dedicated, but she just got fed up. She just got fed up. She got tired of the bullshit. So the way I translate that as a black woman, understanding, although the sister's from the continent of Africa, she's from Cameroon. But she's a black African sister. As a black woman, what I understand is a bitch can only take so much. That's basically what she's saying. A bitch can only take so damn much. Put that into translation. And something had to go wrong. If a black woman had to go up in there and shoot 2 or 3 white men, because the third person, they still around, they injured, but the other 2 is dead. If she had to go up in a damn condominium and do some shit like that, something's going wrong. That was some motive, because that wasn't something she just did randomly. She didn't just say, well, I'm bored, I'm just going to go up here and shoot somebody. But then let me read something else. And then I might go back and play the video. Okay, so now let's read this part. It says police have not given a motive for why Raissa Kengne, 34 years old, allegedly decided to shoot several people Monday afternoon. But the victims are tied to a lawsuit Kengne filed in May in Fulton County Superior Court that alleged, among other issues, her former employer in the property management company where she lived conspired to blacklist her from job opportunities. She also alleged in the lawsuit they and others prevented her from receiving unemployment benefits, homeowner assistance fund benefits, and prevented her from receiving supplemental nutrition assistance program benefits. And it goes on to say, we do not believe these were random acts of violence. We do believe the individual were likely target. APD intern Chief Darren Schramburn, however you say his name, said at a Monday press conference, but did not disclose anything further. So basically, she felt like they was in her way. So basically, her former employer made it to where she can't get other jobs. And what else it says here? They was trying to blacklist her from finding other jobs opportunity, prevent her from receiving unemployment benefits, homeowners assistance fund, prevent her from getting a supplemental nutrition assistance program, and that tends to happen, especially when it comes to unemployment, because most employers, if you get fired or you get laid off, they won't offer you unemployment. You can't even get unemployment from that job. It's very hard to get unemployment. It's not that easy. You have to put up a fight. You have to fight tooth and nail to get unemployment, because most places won't even offer you that. You won't get that. You won't be qualified for that. You have to fight tooth and nail, and that's frustrating. It gets really frustrating. So I've been there, and I know what it is. Had to fight for partial unemployment. But good thing when the pandemic hit, we didn't have to file for unemployment at my previous job, because the employers already did that for us. They already did the unemployment for us because of the pandemic situation. So that was a cool thing. But in the past, when I lost one of my jobs before, right, and I was working a second job, so I was underemployed. So underemployed means that you're working part-time, but you're not working enough hours to make a substantial income. Okay. So I had to file for partial unemployment. And I'm telling you, that shit gets frustrating as hell. But the good thing is I had a representative. I had a union rep, okay, because the union rep was at the place where I was working at. And my union rep was right there. So if it wasn't for my union rep, I would never got that unemployment. I would never got that unemployment. But I'm telling you, it's the most frustrating thing ever. It's frustrating. It's hard. And it's hard to get housing too. It's not that easy. And then another thing, getting food stamps. Oh, don't get me started with food stamps. Child, let me tell you something about food stamps. If you make a cent over on food stamps, let's say you make a cent over on your income, right? You can make $1 over and you still won't be qualified for food stamp. You can make 5 cents over and you won't be qualified for it. Now that's frustrating. That's really frustrating. See, this all goes back to the concept about middle class and lower class, right? See, what people don't realize is that, and obviously she stayed in the middle class community, right? She will be considered in the middle class because she stayed in a very expensive apartment in Midtown, which is like in the middle of downtown Atlanta. Okay? What people don't understand is a lot of those people that live in the middle class, they tend to deal with financial issues, financial crisis. Because then these people work for these big time companies, right? And they end up getting laid off and they get behind on their payments. They have it much harder than those in the lower class. But not saying that lower class people don't have, but they already in that predicament anyways. Okay? But those in the middle class, they have it much harder. So those that in the middle class community, they deal with serious financial struggles. You might think they living good. You might think they eating good because you see them driving around in an expensive car, right? Or a nice car. They looking nice, but you don't even know that they might be behind on their car payment. You don't know they might be behind on their rent, on their bills. So they trying to do whatever they can to keep from getting evicted and to keep from getting their car repossessed. I know people like that. I know people who standing in middle class community or had a decent job and they lost it and they were behind on their payments. They were behind on their rent. They were behind on their student loans, their car payments. So we can understand, so an average person can understand the frustration of this woman, especially by her being a black African woman. They would take advantage of her. They would take advantage of her. So those white men, they were taking advantage of her. They was fucking her over. And she got tired of that shit. In her mind, she said, I'm getting tired of these white folks disrespecting me. I'm getting tired of these white men think they gonna fuck over me. I'm fed up with this shit. That was her attitude. I'm fed up with this. Something gotta be done. If I can't get legal action taken care of, then I'm just gonna do what the fuck I have to do. Now, unless someone can prove that this is not the case, or if they could argue against that, against the documents that she put up, then that's different. But I don't see anybody really trying to argue against her document because she got legal paperwork to prove what she had done. She proved that she had gone through the legal obligation, went through the lawsuit, fought through the lawsuit, then filed several lawsuits, and obviously she wasn't being heard. That's frustrating. That would push somebody over the edge. And that's what happened. That pushed the woman over the edge. Again, it's a sad situation. It's sad to the point that you have somebody that go above and beyond to commit a crime like this. It's really sad. But what do you expect when someone can only can take so much? When you're being pushed over the edge, you're going to get frustrated. You're not going to care. You're not thinking about nothing else. And this woman don't even look like the type that'll be committing no crime like that. If you look at her, she seemed to be very humble. But you can only be humble for so damn long. You can only be humble for so long. You just get tired. You like, humility ain't gonna work for me. Being humble ain't gonna do shit. When you hungry, when you try to make sure you have a place to stay, when you try to make sure you able to pay your bills and you trying to find work, you can only be so humble for so long. This is one of the reasons why people go and commit crimes. Because of lack of resources, lack of things. And they have to try to figure out, well, how do I provide for myself? That's going to drive a person to do criminal activity. And people will talk about, well, she could have did this. She could have went back to her home country, this, that, and the other. How she was going to go back home? Yes, she went out to the airport. I mean, I don't think that was the smart thing she should have done, go to the airport, because obviously they going to catch you at the airport. They going to catch you. They going to get you at the airport. I'll tell you that for sure. So she couldn't run any further. So it was, according to the documents, it's proved that she was going to her former lawyer's house to get help from him. And obviously that lawyer wasn't at home. So she went and told the taxi driver to just take her to the airport. But she couldn't go that far. Maybe she was trying to get back home to Africa. get back to Cameroon, but she was gonna only go so far. She was only gonna go so far. How far can she go? But yeah, I don't think that was the wisest thing for her to do. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't wise, but maybe she wasn't thinking. I tell you, she wasn't thinking. She was just trying to get away. But that wasn't the wisest thing for her to do because eventually it caught up with her. But then again, like I said, I can understand the situation. I can understand being frustrated to that point. And this is not just some old random act. This is not some just BS. This is some legal situation that she was in, filing lawsuits, and she just got tired of it. Mm. Now, what she said on here? Now, going back, let's read this again. Killed were Wesley Freeman, 41, her former supervisor at a PDO USA LLP, a major Atlanta accounting firm where Kengne apparently worked as an audit manager. He was shot at 1100 Peachtree Street, where BDO USA has an office. Freeman was named in Kengne's lawsuit, as was BDO USA. And also killed was Michael Shinners, 60, at the 1280 West Condominium building where Kengne lives. Shinners was the building manager for Beacon Management Services, the property management company for 2080 West. Michael Horn, chief building engineer for Beacon Management Services, was seriously wounded. Beacon Management Services was also named in the lawsuit. Mm. It says the day before the shooting, Kengne posted on her LinkedIn profile that BDO USA retaliated against her for reporting Freeman and the company to federal authorities for committing fraud. She also said BDO USA conspired with Beacon Management to break into her condo to steal and delete evidence she had in the safe. Of course, because she filed a federal lawsuit. It's not a state lawsuit, it's federal. Because when you're dealing with a federal, then that's a whole nother thing. That means your whole company is going down. That's why the employer went to the property management and got access to that information and tried to delete the evidence because they didn't want to have to go against a federal lawsuit. This wasn't a state, it was federal. So that means their company could have been put in major jeopardy. So anytime you deal with a federal lawsuit, you put in major jeopardy. And that's what he was trying to do, her employer. He was trying to make sure that she did not put the company in jeopardy because she was an audit manager. Beacon Management Services CEO Steve Wibble said in a phone interview that Kengne was known for being loud and demonstrated by those living and working at 1280 West. Nobody expected something like this, he said. She hated everyone and then filed this massive federal lawsuit, Wibble said. Everyone knew her because of her behavior, he said. She was irrational, abusive, and unpredictable. Wibble said Horn remains in critical condition after being shot twice. We don't know if he will survive, he said. We all just stunned, shocked, Wibble said. Everyone is just sad. I don't even know how to think. And she was denied bond on August 23rd. She was denied bond. But let's go ahead. Let's play the rest of this video. Let's play the rest of this video.
I think the issue with the report is that Officer Caleb came twice, and I haven't heard back of a follow-up. On the report, she had it as a non-crime, and she was supposed to update that information. Right? Okay. Good.
So she went down to Atlanta Police Precinct, Zone 5, to address this issue.
She gave me that shit, and when I went to the records department in order to pick up the shit, the information, the report, the actual report, I saw that she had put that it was a non-crime, even though it was a burglary. I came back here at Precinct 5. I don't know if you know her, Officer Caleb. I talked to her supervisor, and her supervisor told me to go to Precinct 1 in order to update the report. At Precinct 1, they sent me to the main location in Midtown. I went to Midtown and they told me no. So I made a request for information. I have videos showing the 2 times that Officer Caleb intervened at my home. Now, I came back here because this is part of a civil lawsuit. The burglary happened in a very secured building, so I am suing the Beacon Management Services, which is the management company who manage the building, as well as the board members, right? Because in order to have access to my building, they needed to have access to a key card, and they needed to have the keys to my unit, right? So only someone with knowledge of where I was, that I wasn't going to be home, could have committed that crime, right? In addition to someone who had access. The point is, now your colleague is trying to give me.
Well, it sounded like to me that woman was frustrated. That woman was frustrated. She was fed up. She was fed up. She was pushed over the edge. And she felt like nobody was trying to hear her out. That's the case of that situation. So she had her reason for committing the crime. She had her reason. And until something can be proven otherwise, I honestly believe that. I honestly believe her story. Because she has enough documents to back up and prove everything. I honestly believe her story. I honestly believe it. So that's my thoughts and commentary on this whole incident. Lately there's been a lot of crimes taking place in the A. The crime's been going sky high, so it's like people have to be careful, especially over there in Midtown, Buckhead area. Those are the high spot where crime are more than likely going to happen. All right, and also the highway too. So yeah. So that's all I gotta say. So, anyways, with that being said, y'all take it easy. Thank you guys who have been subscribing to my channel. Shout out to the new subscribers. If you guys got any comments, let me see if y'all had any comments on here. All right, so peace to everybody that showed up on here. Peace to Brother Chauncey. Peace to Brother Vinyasa. Yeah. So, anyways, If you guys want to subscribe to my channel, please do so. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Like the channel, share the channel, or if you want to check out the videos, you're more than welcome to do that as well. And until next time, peace and power elevation be to all you. This your girl Tiffany, and I'm logging out saying deuces, and y'all be safe. Be careful, all right? Peace.